Have you ever stood next to someone thinking, I should say something, but nothing comes out, and then the moment passes? That's not because you're bad at small talk. It's because no one ever showed you what actually matters. Because the secret to great small talk is not being interesting, it's bonding. And once you understand how to create that feeling, you can talk to anyone, even if you're shy, even if you're introverted. In the next few minutes, I'll show you simple techniques you can use immediately. So stay with me, because at the end, I'll share 2 conversation openers that always work. Step 1. Relax and smile. This is the part almost no one talks about. Before you say anything, just arrive. Relax. Stand next to the person. Make brief eye contact. Give a small, natural smile. And then, pause for a second. Just present. This is so powerful because you signal something very rare. I'm comfortable being here with you. Most people rush, they fidget, they fill the silence immediately. But when you can hold that moment for just a few seconds, it calms the nervous system, yours and theirs. People feel your energy before you speak, so if you relax first, the conversation becomes easier before it even starts. 2. Observe and be present. Before you talk, take a few seconds to observe. We often focus too much on ourselves and lose sight of the other person's needs. Ask yourself, what kind of state is this person in right now? Are they relaxed? A bit stressed? Deep in thought? Open to conversation? You would be surprised how much you can read in just a few seconds. You can practice this without even talking. In the elevator, on the train, in a cafe. Just observe. Be present. This alone builds confidence for the next step. 3. Choose open questions to start. Most conversations sound the same because people ask the same questions. How are you? Do you like this event? These questions aren't wrong, but they lead to short, predictable answers. Good. Yes. It's nice. And that's where conversations quietly die. If you want to stand out, you don't need to be more interesting. You just need to be a little different in what you ask. Because people remember conversations that feel slightly unexpected. So avoid yes/no questions and ask open questions instead. Questions where the other person can say more than just one word. So instead of, how are you? Try, what's been the highlight of this trip so far? Or, I'm looking for a good restaurant. Which one would you recommend? Now the conversation has direction, and combined with the next technique, you level up your conversation immediately. 4. Use the thread technique. Now comes the part that keeps the conversation going. Whatever the other person says contains a thread, a small detail you can follow. You could start a conversation about the great canapés. Which ones you recommend? There are immediately 3 threads you can continue with: events, food, experiences. The secret? Don't jump topics. Stay on one and explore it a little. That's what makes conversations feel smooth. Good topics to talk about are usually travel and vacations, entertainment such as movies, books, or theater, hobbies and interests, weekend plans, favorite local places to go to. Work and family topics are often better left out at first because they can sometimes feel stressful or too personal. 5. Avoid the interviewer trap. Small talk beginners might fall into what I call the interviewer trap. They ask question after question, which can feel like an interview. So the key is to find a simple balance. You ask, and then you give a little something back. For example, imagine you're talking about food at an event. Instead of only asking questions, you might say, I once went to an event where the buffet was so bad, people actually left early just to get food somewhere else. It's a simple, slightly funny story, and if you get a laugh, you win. But it can also be little moments from your day, your experiences, your observations. That's more than enough to turn a simple conversation into something people actually enjoy. People associate you with how they feel around you. So with all the topics you offer, always be positive and light. This works even better with the next step. 6. Be genuine. Drop the perfect act. You might think you have to be perfect, that you have to say the right thing, always look composed, and keep everything polished. But the result is often the opposite of connection. It feels distant, because what people are actually looking for is something much simpler: a real human. The moment you allow yourself to be a little more genuine, the whole dynamic changes. And here's the good news: you don't need to impress. You don't need to perform. In fact, it's the opposite. Sharing a small imperfection, a tiny, weak moment, actually makes you more relatable. You can simply say what's true in that moment. Instead of searching for the perfect topic, you might just say, "My shoes are killing me. I really hope we can sit down soon." And I promise, that's instantly relatable for almost every woman, and even for men. That's exactly what makes people relax, because they don't have to be perfect either, and start to open up. Looking for the perfect conversation opener? Here are two that almost always work. 1. Make thoughtful compliments. People want to be seen, and a good compliment is one of the easiest ways to start a conversation. You could simply say, "I love your shirt. What's your favorite place to shop?" Or you could level it up to, "The color combination is really nice. I wish I had an eye for that." Who wouldn't like to hear a compliment, especially if it is a special, thoughtful one? Another one of my favorites is, "You look so relaxed. Do you have a secret for that?" Trust me, this is a conversation wonder. But do what feels natural to you. It should feel real, not forced. And if the person is not in a great mood, you can adjust. Long day today? I know that feeling. Even if there isn't a long conversation afterwards, you leave the other person with a sense of warmth and connection, which creates a good feeling for both of you. 2. Talk about your personal highlights. Here's conversation starter number 2, which you can use almost anywhere, and trust me, it is a conversation wonder. "I really liked," and then ask a question. Here is a real-life example. Let's say you are at an event. You could say, "I really liked the first speaker. What was your highlight so far?" Or, at a bar, you could say, "I really like the coffee here. You definitely should try it." This works because it starts positive, it gives direction, and it invites the other person to think of something good. And the best part? It trains your brain to look for something positive first. My last tip for you. Once you've made first contact, it makes sense to introduce yourself. Simply say, "I think we haven't met before. My name is..." Exchanging names takes the conversation to the next level. So when you put this all together, small talk becomes much simpler. You don't need to be louder or more extroverted. You just relax first, observe, ask slightly better questions, follow what's already there, and add a bit of yourself. And suddenly, conversations don't feel like effort anymore.